more than 3 months after former EMA Director Pam Tucker announced 3 words, "I am done."
I just couldn't take that anymore. It was hard to talk about giving up a career of 39 years.
The investigation into claims of a hostile work environment is complete.
There is no merit to the harassment in the workplace, none whatsoever.
As the county says none of Tucker or her deputy director Rusty Welsh's claims were true.
Ms. Tucker constantly made claims about her professionalism and her leadership abilities in the report, stating that she was a natural-born leader. I have never seen a true leader brag about their abilities.
We're on your side with how the key players in that investigation are reacting and where the county goes from here. Tucker, a civil servant with decades of experience, just part of the focus of a lengthy news conference in Columbia County. Good afternoon, I'm Richard Rogers.
And I'm Christy Etheridge. Today, the investigation report was released to the public after claims of a hostile work environment against both Tucker and County Administrator Scott Johnson. Our team coverage begins this afternoon with Brooke Zahner, our Columbia County reporter, who was there this morning when commissioners announced they did not find any validity to claims of hostility in the county offices. Brooke.
Exactly, and county leaders admitted that there were problems on both sides with Scott Johnson and Pam Tucker, but they also praised them. They also praised Scott Johnson and Pam Tucker for their performances at work. Now, there are 2 reports released today, one investigating Tucker's claims, the other investigating Welsh's claims. At the beginning of the press conference, they praised Tucker for the work she did in the county, and as the press conference went on, the tone took a turn. Chairman Cross said Pam was narcissistic, and some of her employees say they felt like they were walking on eggshells when they were around her. My question is, why was Mr. Johnson not placed on administrative paid leave during this time when this investigation was going on?
We felt there was no reason because basically we knew from the beginning that there was no possibility of a hostile work environment
So just to
on either party.
Just to clarify, during the 3 months that this investigation was going on, he was interacting with county employees at that time.
He was doing his job.
Well, Mr. Cross, if you said that you knew that these claims weren't true, then why did you open an investigation on it?
Because of what was said in the resignation of Ms. Tucker and the claims made by her, we had to address it. And in the same situation, had Ms. Tucker decided to continue her employment, we would not have placed her on administrative leave either.
Now, Chairman Cross also admitted there was at least one incident when Scott Johnson cursed at a county employee, but he later apologized. Johnson did not interview with anyone after that news conference, but he did make a brief statement.
For me personally, it's been very trying to be tried and convicted on social media, in professional media, to people call for your job that don't even know what you do or don't even know your name. It's pretty tough. I've had physical threats and death threats given to me because of Ms. Tucker's popularity. And I still stand here today and say that I did absolutely nothing wrong in this situation. I think the evidence points that out. I think that they interviewed numerous employees.
And I asked what the county plans to do so this does not happen again. Chairman Cross said you can't outguess personalities, but the county is starting another service as a part of its HR department where employees can go in and report anything they want anonymously.
And Brooke, back to your question about not putting Johnson on leave during this investigation. That's usually pretty standard procedure, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's part of the reason why I asked that question, Richard. They kept saying that they knew that those claims weren't true, and at that point I asked why they opened the investigation. The commissioner said they couldn't imagine not having the administrator here or on leave at that time while they were working on the budget.
All right, Brooke, thanks. Well, Kelly Wiley is joining us now. Kelly, this report is a couple hundred pages long, and you have read it all. So walk us through what you found in those documents.
Well, while investigators spoke to past and present employees, the majority of them saying they've never seen any evidence of hostile behavior or unprofessional behavior, both reports are peppered with claims of less than professional behavior and unbecoming behavior. One of Johnson's employees claims that that he was asked by Johnson what it was like to be an employee of Tucker's, what it was like to work with her. He says he told Johnson he didn't have any issues, but that both of them had strong personalities. Well, he claims Scott remarked he divorced a woman with strong personalities, and that employee called that meeting the most unprofessional that he has ever had. 2 different accounts also alleged Johnson cursed out a female county employee while at a private party. There is a audio recording where Johnson says he handled it the wrong way, but that he tells investigators he never used curse words. 2 accounts from separate people say that he was screaming the F word. Pam Tucker alleges Johnson was an, quote, equal opportunity bullier, a sentiment echoed by another person interviewed who says he would cuss you out no matter who you are, no matter if you are a male or a female. And more than one person interviewed also commented on Pam's work behavior. One worker claims to have been denied funeral leave several times. Another employee says Tucker has her own set of rules, saying that no other department was ran like Pam Tucker's department. Another employee says Tucker was interviewed, a lot of employees actually described her as being sensitive to criticism. Other employees describing her saying everyone, including Johnson, had to walk on eggshells around her. But again, reading and combing through all those hundreds of pages, I found that the majority of the people interviewed said that they had not noticed, not observed several interactions between them 2, period. And in those interactions, they hadn't observed hostile behavior.
A lot in all of those pages. Thanks a lot, Kelly.
At least personality conflicts, strong personalities opposing to each other there in the workplace. Now, there are a lot of documents, as Kelly mentioned, almost 100 on one hand, almost 150 on the other hand. We put all that online for you to read.
Yeah, you can read it for yourself. And obviously, you just heard from Scott Johnson, who was there this morning at the press conference. Pam Tucker chose to respond in writing. We got her statement first. We'll show you that at 6 o'clock.
Oh, hot one out there again. The streak of 90s continues. We had that streak last week, then it got interrupted by that weekend with cooler weather. Another one is underway. We've got 92 degrees out there, I believe, for a high so far today. Out of our live eye cam, nothing but blue sky. Sunshine, 91's the current temp, upper 80s elsewhere. Temperatures today maybe a degree or 2 lower than a day ago, but it still feels pretty much the same with those hot temps, a little bit humid, but not too much. Now, if you have any plans heading out to the rest of this afternoon or evening, sunsets between 8 and 9 p.m. and temps will still be well into the 80s at that time. And it's going to be a mild night out there. We'll talk more about temperatures and an eventual cool down coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Kevin. A man is facing arson charges today. Aiken Public Safety says he deliberately set fire to 6 homes, mostly in Crossland Park. Today, a judge denied bond for Jesse Green. Preston Willett on your side now with a case that had neighbors on edge.
Just in the past month, there have been at least 4 cases of fires in the Crossland Park neighborhood. And this is one of them right here at the corner of Aldrich and Brentwood. And this house was a total loss. Now, public safety has connected all 4 of these fires to one man, Jesse Green, who has a past with arson.
4 different houses, 1 month, all set on fire, with the most recent here on the corner.
My dog was barking hard and it woke me up, and I think I was just taking her out for a walk when I noticed the blaze.
But it was the last clue needed to lead police to connect Jesse Green to these 4 fires. It started a month ago on George Street, but week after week, public safety responded to more fires.
Nothing really stuck out to us then, but then we started seeing a series of fires over a period of time, pretty frequently.
All the different fires officers say connected back to Green, or Toad, as he's called, who is no stranger to an arson charge. He's been charged twice in the past.
He knew or frequented those houses, so he was not a stranger to any of the occupants at that house or the neighborhood.
His charges were not done there, as the sheriff's office connected him to 2 more fires nearby on Wagner Road in Aiken.
We've obviously had fires where they've been set, maybe one here or one there, but not to the frequency where we were once a week basically having a fire.
Even with Green off the streets, some say they are still worried about safety and are taking precautions.
I got a barky dog, so what I need is a taser.
Now, one similarity between all these fires and kind of what connects them is that the fire was started in the back of the house. So you can see behind me, the back of the house is a lot more torched than the front of the house. So public safety says all 4 of these fires in the Crossland Park neighborhood were started at the back of the house, including one fire. Now, we talked to a man last night that said the fire was actually started in his grill behind the house, but was put out before it actually reached the house. In Aiken, Preston Willett, on your side.
Jeffrey Hazelwood, the man accused of killing 2 teens in Roswell, pleads guilty but mentally ill in court today. Hazelwood was charged with shooting Natalie Henderson and Carter Davis behind a Publix grocery store in Roswell last summer. The 2 teens died from a single gunshot wound to the head.
Augusta commissioners are trying to get a handle on the city's abandoned property problem, considering doing the work in-house using city employees or inmates. The idea split the commission and they put it to rest for now. Augusta government reporter Lindsay Tuman spoke with businesses that do demolition for the city about why this could be risky.
Demolition is a family business for Derek Partridge.
A lot of people just overlook our work, but we, on the bottom, we still take pride in our work and strive to be very, very safe.
He's worked with the city before on demolition and says he was surprised to hear there were talks about the city trying to handle this on their own.
And I was kind of surprised about that, but they were just, I guess, doing what they thought was best.
It's about more than just demoing the houses. Local businesses are trained how to test for and deal with asbestos, and that can be a big cost savings for the city.
But if they bring a third party in and that company, their main focus is making money on the asbestos, those prices are going to probably about triple.
He says his company is able to do it at cost as part of the rest of the demo, but it's about more than just the upfront price.
That abatement, you can miss some, and if you get exposed to it, then you have liability problems.
Moses Todd with the Labor Council is also a former commissioner. He says this plan wasn't thought all the way through.
If we could get commissioners to listen, and if they would have public hearings on some of this issue.
But it raises other concerns for small businesses who say this could push them out of work.
They've been trying to promote small business and disadvantaged business, and this is one area that they can compete in.
Even though it did not pass, they worry it could come up again and bring consequences for the businesses and the city. In Augusta, Lindsay Tuman on your side.
Breaking news this afternoon, I-20 almost at a standstill in the eastbound lane near the Grovetown exit. You're taking a live look right now and you can see that slow moving traffic in that lane on the right side of the screen. Those cars are crawling. The sheriff's office says they were called to a 3-car accident about half an hour ago near mile 188. No word on any injuries yet, but EMS was called. And again, on this video, this live look, you can see how slowly things are moving out there at the Grovetown exit, going right underneath that bridge. So you may want to take a different route if you're heading out the door.
And when you're in your car, green means go, and it does for our car wash forecast too. Tomorrow and Friday, have at it. Wash the car, wash yourselves in the driveway. It's going to be sunny, beautiful car wash weather. We'll talk about whether we could see some rain this weekend coming up in a couple of minutes.